Hey, this is Gecko Mayhem. I am on stream at the moment, but I am recording a video of a video. It's Godforge, and there is an update on a number of heroes' kits, their skill sets. Let's take a look at the video, what Fateless is going to reveal to us with regard to these heroes, and see what they say. Let's go.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. We've got another Godforge video. Oh, we are closing in on the early access release, which means that you guys are going to want to know more legendary hero kits.
We will.
It's going to help you make decisions in the mini game. If you're playing Godforge quests, great. If you're not yet playing, then you should be, because you can earn yourself a hero, a weapon, and an imprint for the launch, for the early access launch. This is not coming around again, and you basically got until the 1st of February to get involved.
Yeah.
After that, you won't have enough days to do the 20 fragments to get yourself the hero, because we're actually going to push this out now until around the 20th of February to be able to be in the mix, get involved, and earn yourself some cool rewards.
Wow.
For example, here, you can come in and do a summon, get 2 free 10 pulls a day. If you're a premium user, you get more than that as well. You get an extra 4 10 pulls a day. And obviously, you're looking for either some of those cool epics in the mix or cool legendaries to give your accounts a turbocharged start.
Turbocharged.
So do you want someone like a Gozu? Or for me, I've actually already pulled an Isis at this point. So I'm kind of like just holding fire.
Yep.
And really, this video is for people that don't know which legendaries to put into their roster. So before we get into the legendary hero kits, I just want to say, if you enjoy what you're seeing from Fateless, if you're looking forward to Godforge, please subscribe to this channel. About 50% of you watching the videos regularly are not subscribed, and it would really help us as we push towards 100,000. We'd really appreciate it. We're going to go through an additional, I think it's 11 legendary kits here. I've gone through a bunch of them in a previous video as well. Any legendary kit that I talk about is still subject to change. We're doing tons of like tinkering, improving, all that type of stuff as we playtest leading into early access.
Yes.
So bear that in mind, but you at least get the sort of vibe we're going for some of these different heroes.
Cool.
Okay, then let's kick it off with Anu. He is from the Eka faction here, a defender. So let's go through his kit. The basic ability attacks an enemy for 200% defense and 100% attack. Place Vanish on the ally with the lowest current HP.
That's nice.
Hiding them away so you don't get killed. We've got the Grace of the Heavens core ability here. Starts as a 5-turn cooldown but books to 4. We've got Place Defense up 2 on all allies for 2 turns and Protect 2 on all allies except this hero for 2 turns as well.
Typical defender.
So he's living up to his defensive capabilities here. And then we've got the ultimate ability, Cosmic Salvation. Place Phoenix on all allies for 2 turns. Then all allies except this hero will attack a target. So it's like a big ally attack. If an ally is under Protect 2, they will heal for 30% of the damage they do as well. We then got the passive abilities. Again, like these passives are subject to change, but for this dude, for every 10% divinity on this hero, reduce the damage allies receive by 3%. So you can get that all the way up to 30% damage reduction as a passive if you just leave his ultimate like charged up. And obviously you get an imprint out of that as well. Okay, let's move on. Apollo. Ooh, we have got ourselves an Olympian and Invoker here. Yeah, Invoker. I was like, is that Disruptor? No, it's Invoker. Okay, we got Twin Arrows of the Delphi. Attacks an enemy for 200% attack 2 times. The first hit places Mend on all allies. So that's a healing spell. The second hit will have a chance to place Acid on a target for 2 turns. And then if Artemis is around as well, she will join in with her basic attack as well. So Solar Mandate here, the core, attacks an enemy for 200% attack, then places attack up 2 on all allies. Also equalizes the divinity of the ally with the lowest divinity to this guy's divinity. And if Artemis is on the same team, equalizes her divinity as well. We've then got the ultimate ability. So Equinox of Purity and Rot. Attacks all enemies for 150% attack. Reduces the cooldown of each ally's core ability by a turn. For each ally under Mend, increases their divinity by 15%. And for each enemy under acid, decreases their divinity by 15%.
That's pretty strong.
And then his passive here, whenever an ally uses a core ability, increases the damage of their core by 10%, and it resets each wave. So if you've got a long fight, this one could be kind of busted.
Yeah.
We will see. Okay, let's have a look at Ares here, the god of war. Very cool visual on this dude. So yeah, so we've got a strength Slayer from the Olympus faction. He does have the leader bonus here of plus 30% crit damage in arena. We've got Furious Onslaught. His basic ability is a triple hit.
Triple hit.
Each hit hitting for 115% attack, and decreases the target's defense by 2%, stacking up to 10 times. So you can get a 20% defense drop on the enemy. Each strong hit also decreases the target's initiative by 5 up to 10 times. So it can have a minus 50 initiative as well. We've got the core, Brutal Cleave, attacks all enemies for 440% attack, ignoring shield, ignoring barrier. If the attack is a strong hit, remove all shield and barrier from each target as well. And if the enemy, if an enemy is defeated, increases hero's divinity by 10%. We then got Carnage, Momentum, the ultimate. Attacks an enemy 2 times for 275% attack. Ignores Protect,
everything.
Intercept, Immortal, and Ward. If the attack is strong,
ignores 20%
also ignores 20% of the target's defense. So you're going to want to strong hit stack on this dude to really get the benefit of his abilities. His passive here, each time an enemy receives a debuff, increases this hero's chance to strong hit by 5% on their next ability. So if you put him alongside someone who's doing a bunch of debuffs, then he is going to do work. Okay, let's keep it going. We've got Sizin, who I tried to tell you about last time. His kit's changed a lot, so I thought I'd throw him back in. Attacks all enemies for 300. This is basic. Pestilence Sweep. Attacks all enemies for 380% attack. That's big for a basic, actually. With a 40% goes up to 60% chance to place acid for 2 turns on each target. We've got Ground Quake, the core. Starts as a 4-turn cooldown, but uses the tomes down to 3. Attacks all enemies for 410% attack. With, and again, it strolls up to 100% here. Chance to place Blaze 2 on each target for 2 turns. We then got the Rite of Flame and Decay, the ultimate. Attacks all enemies, 430% attack, and activates Acid and Blaze on each target. Also apply Precision on this hero for a turn. And then the passive, if the enemy is under acid, reduce their incoming healing by 50%, which obviously is going to help you in certain boss situations. Right, Fusion. So we've got a basic here, attacks all enemies with his Gust of Wind. He's a defender, and his Cunning affinity here. So yeah, he's got resistance in all battles as leader bonus. So Gust of Wind attacks all enemies for 210% defense plus 120 attack, with a chance to place resistance down for 2 turns on each target. And if Raijin is on the same team, he's going to join the attack as well. Yep. We've got the Wind Wall Core ability, attacks all enemies for 210% defense again, plus 120% attack. Place Protect 2 on all allies. Also place Stalwart on all allies for a turn. And if Raijin is on the same team, place Ward on him.
Cool.
And then we've got the ultimate here, Winds of Change. Transfers 1 debuff from each ally to this hero, then attacks 1 enemy for the same multiplier again. Transfers all debuffs from this hero to the target. But each debuff transferred increases the barrier for people on your team by 50%. If Raijin's on the same team, transfer all debuffs to this hero. We then got his passive, reduces the damage received by allies from AoE attacks by 30%. So massive damage reduction against AoEs. Okay, let's have a look at... maybe have a look at his partner in crime, actually, because they do have some synergy stuff going on. Raijin here. So we've got his basic Scattered Thunder. Attacks 3 random targets. If the target is under a debuff, place Barrier on this hero. If Fusion is on the same team, he will also gain the barrier and he will join the attack. Then got the core, which is harnessed. Tempest. That's on a 5-turn, but books to 4. Attacks all enemies 2 times. The first hit has a chance to place Hex 2. And the second hit has a chance to place Drop Defense for 2 turns. So he's bringing a ton of debuffs, obviously, which Fusion wanted to do more work. We've then got his ultimate here, Supercharged Pulse. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Increases hero's divinity by 10% for each defeated enemy. If fusions on the same team, also increase his divinity by the same amount. And then his passive here, Eye of the Storm. When an enemy receives a debuff, shock them, inflicting damage to 100% attack. Cannot be a crit and ignores defense. And this triggers up to 1 time per enemy turn. So an enemy needs to have a turn before that can happen again. But yeah, whenever an enemy's receiving a debuff, a chance to just do like true damage to them. Okay, let's go back here to Izanagi. We've got a Wisdom Invoker here. So Celestial Slash is his basic. Attacks an enemy, increases divinity of all allies by 5%. It's actually kind of big for a basic. If Izanami is on the same team, she will join the attack. We then got the Blessed Infusion, the core. Place initiative up 2 on all allies for 2 turns. Reduce the divinity cost of all allies by 10% up to 3 times. So you want this guy if you want to be stacking tons of ults. We've got Purification here on the ult. Place attack up 2 on all allies. Then increase the divinity of all allies by 20%. Also increases the damage of the next ally's ultimate ability by 30%. And if Izanami is on the team and has been defeated, you revive her with half health and 100% turn meter. Got his passive here, Breath of Life. So for every 5 buffs placed on the enemy team, activate this hero's basic ability against the enemy with the highest turn meter. And then again, so he's got a bit of a partner in crime here in Izanami. So she is a disruptor, also wisdom. She's got Fading Slash here for a basic. Attacks an enemy with a chance to put initiative down on the target. Got the core Withering Essence on a 4, books to 3. Remove shield from all enemies, then attacks all enemies with a chance to place Corrupt on the target with the highest HP for 3 turns. And then if you've got Izanagi as well on the same team, he will join the attack using his core ability. Which is kind of massive. Yeah. The ultimate here, Yomi Malediction. Attacks all enemies with a chance to place Speed Down 2 and Curse 2 on each target. And then decrease their turn meter by 20%. It's a massive ultimate from Izanami right there. Her passive at the moment, this one's definitely subject to change. We might change this one up. But when this hero attacks an enemy under initiative down, decrease their turn meter by 5%. Okay, let's go on to Lamash 2. Really cool looking hero. So this is a cunning hero and a slayer from the Eka faction here. So we've got Demon Daggers as a basic. Attack 1 enemy 2 times. If the target is defeated, increases the damage of the next AoE attack by 50%. And the other abilities here are AoE. So we've got the core Feast of the Unborn. Attacks all enemies, 300% attack. If this ability defeats 3 or more enemies, reset its cooldown and increases hero's divinity by 200. Again, certain fights where that's going to be really powerful. We then got the ultimate Unholy Birth. Place attack up 2 on this hero for 2 turns, then attacks all enemies for 300% attack. For each enemy already defeated, summons a demon of pestilence, which explodes on impact, triggering Soul Eruption, which is the passive. With a 50, goes up to 70% chance of placing Vulnerable 2 and Acid on all enemies for 2 turns. Another massive ultimate ability right there. Soul Eruption, the passive. So when this hero defeats an enemy, they explode, inflicting damage to 100% of the attack to all enemies, and this ignores defense but cannot be a crit. Very, very cool passive. Okay, let's go on to Morgan Le Fay. So, yeah, quite a lot going on with this kit. We've got another Slayer here from Cunning. She's from the Avalon faction. So, Dark Magics. The basic ability attacks all enemies for attack and accuracy, 1000% accuracy. Whoa. With a chance to place Vulnerable 2 on all enemies. Also activates a random debuff on each target. So, by debuff, we're kind of meaning like the dots there, like Blaze, Aether Burn, that type of stuff. Her core here is Spellbook of Corruption. It's on a 4, books down to 3. Attacks all enemies for attack and accuracy 3 times. Each hit has got a chance of placing Aether Burn, Blaze, Acid, or Bleed at random. So you've got 3 of those going on, which means you just have tons of dots going out there. You then got the ultimate Ruin of Avalon. Before attacking, you remove any dots on the enemies, then attack all enemies. For every 5 debuffs removed, increase the damage inflicted by 25%. If 20 or more were removed, increases hero's turn meter by 100%. So you can literally go again. And then we've got her passive. So this hero gains bonus effects when debuffs are activated. So when you're activating on this A1 here, this basic, if you activate Aetherburn, you gain more divinity. If you activate Blaze, you gain more damage on your core abilities next go. If you activate Acid, you gain turn meter. And then if you activate Bleed, you heal based on her accuracy. Pretty mental kits. Okay, last one then to do today is Svarog, the legendary weapon maker. He is a wisdom defender. And what we got going on here? So we have got, he's from the Virage faction. So he's got defense in all battles as his leader bonus. We've got Seared Strike, the basic ability. Attacks an enemy for 220% defense plus 105% attack with a chance to place Blunt 2 on a target. We've got the Celestial Hammer, his core. It's on a 4, goes down to 3. Attacks all enemies for defense and attack with a chance to place attack down on each target for 2 turns. And places Protect 2 on all allies. We've then got the ultimate Anvil Sparks. Places resistance and defense up 2 on all allies for 3 turns. Then places a shield based on his defense, based on 250% defense. We've then got his passive. Each time an ally uses an ult, decrease the damage received by all allies by 3%, and that goes up to 10 times. So you can get 30% damage reduction based on his passive as well. Has that made you make any changes to the decisions you were going to make for your lock-ins? Who's your favorite legendary that we've uncovered so far? I've been Simon from Fateless, and I'll see you real soon.
Wow, it's a lot to think about. Thinking about all of their kits, right? Morgan Le Fay comes across as more of an invoker because of all the debuffs, yet she's a slayer, which means she's going to hit hard. And the fact that it's based on accuracy, very interesting. Very interesting kit from Morgan Le Fay. Right, let's go back to each of them and go over them very briefly. I'm going to play through it. I'm just going to jump to it. Okay, so Anu. He's looking like a really solid defender. He's got your typical defender kit where he's putting up defense and protect. And then if you want to use your ultimate, then you're putting up Phoenix, which means that automatic res unless it gets stripped. And it also places a healing on them because they're going to have protect. And if you want them to be even more protected, just hold your ult on this guy. He's a solid defender. I'm not going to go for him. Apollo, Invoker, which means he's playing on the whole place debuffs thing. And for him, it's Acid. Not really a big fan of Acid. I can't remember exactly what Acid does. He also helps to heal. So he's not just good for debuffing. He's good for healing you, and he's placing attack up. So pushing divinity, isn't he, as well a little bit? So he is normalizing divinity. And when placing them in, he increases divinity. So this guy's actually a push your team forward kind of dude. He could be pretty solid if you don't have another hero that pushes your team forward like Aphrodite. He looks like an alternative to Aphrodite. Got ourselves another Slayer dude here. Ares as the God of War is looking pretty strong. Ignoring shield and barrier. Just basically ignoring stuff as he goes in. Especially on his ultimate. He just goes, you got some buffs? You don't think you're going to take damage? Well, here you go. Especially if it's a strong hit. So this is the one that Simon said you want to try to get more strong hits in because he really plays on that. Very strong Slayer. I'm guessing that he's going to hit like an absolute truck. Sizzin, interesting. I'm not a big fan of Blaze or Acid. In fact, I'm not a big fan of dots, really, overall. I don't think that dots are a great way to go unless it's an extended fight. But against bosses and stuff, could be really good. He's got a bit of AoE playing with fire. This dude loves to play with fire. The thing about being all AoE makes him really interesting in particular situations. And the fact that he's a Slayer means he should hit really hard as well. So it's not just about placing the acid and the blaze and being more precise, being able to put those dots up. But yeah, bringing lots of pain. And then we've got Hujin and Raijin. So AoE on the A1 on the basic, pretty cool, right? He's playing with all this debuff transfer, so he'll take all the debuffs onto himself and place them out onto the enemies with an AoE, and he's protecting and placing stalwart, so you're really solid defender in terms of keeping your team alive, but then also probably doing some pretty good damage for a defender. And then we've got his co-god here, Raijin, who is a Slayer, so you get your Protector and your Slayer. If you had both of these guys, man, that would be pretty strong, because he places Barrier on himself, he places Barrier on Hujin if you've got him, does an AoE. These debuffs, Hex and Defense Down, are great debuffs. They're not dots. They're really good debuffs, so very strong as a Slayer. I wouldn't mind having him. I'm not going to reserve him if I pull him. I'd rather have a support champ, an Invoker. Then we've got Izanagi and Izanami. So, another Invoker here, as he covered. Attack up. Every time buffs go on the enemy team, it activates his basic ability, things like that. So, he's really just about helping your allies to push forward and get to their ultimates faster. So, if you want to stack your ult stuff and have Izanagi, oh my gosh, you're going to get a lot of ultimates. A lot of ultimates. And then Izanami, his counterpart, who is a disruptor. So you got your Invoker and your disruptor. You got basically your supporter, buffer hero, a healer, and you've got your let me bring some debuffs and hurt the enemy with corruption and speed down. So where Izanagi pushes your team forward, Izanami pulls the other team back. And so you're going to get your ultimate smashing the team, and they're just not going to be able to take a turn. It's a pretty brutal combo in terms of controlling turn meter and ultimate meter. Lamashtu's looking pretty strong. Gonna come in and just destroy stuff, right? AoE on the core, which is very cool. There'll be certain situations where you do defeat 3 enemies, and she's gonna get this increased divinity. And placing attack up to, a little bit selfish, but that's what Slayers do, right? They improve themselves and then come in with a really massive hit. And then, of course, her passive, pretty crazy, blowing the enemies up, doing more damage, pure damage that ignores defense. Pretty crazy. I'd actually be interested to see Lamashtu in action. If I summoned Lamashtu and I was of the mind that I was gonna have a Slayer, she'd probably be one of my top picks for a Slayer, to be honest. And then we have Morgan Le Fay, as I mentioned just before. Crazy kit. It is pretty cool. Although I'm not a big fan of dots, the fact that she puts so many debuffs up, she makes them vulnerable, which means they take more damage from debuffs, and removes these debuffs, attacks them, activates them. Just crazy for a Slayer. This is... I'm kind of... Although I'm not a big dot heavy person, I'm kind of tempted to try and go for Morgan Le Fay, just for how much she does, because if you can stack lots of accuracy on her, she's probably going to do some serious damage. If you make her really accurate, because her damage scales on accuracy, she's going to land those debuffs all the time, and just the damage is just going to chain, really, which is pretty crazy. Did we cover anything else after Morgan? Yes, there was the dude. The dude with the massive hammer. So Svarog, he was the last one that was covered. He can stop the enemy from doing as much damage and protect your team in a different way, but you've got your resistance up, your defense up, and your shield. So the fact that he places a shield on everyone, it's from his ultimate, it's not from another skill, but you could coincide that with something that plays on shields. So a weapon that does more damage when your allies have shields, for example. Things like that. Really cool to see the kits. I don't think it's changed who I want to go for. If anything, I would grab Svarog as the defender over the other defender, but I really want to get an Invoker. And I want it to be an Invoker that doesn't just push your team forward, but someone like Isis or Vivian. Those are my top 2 picks, Isis and Vivian. So we'll see how things go. Yeah, hopefully that enlightens a few people who watch this video when I turn it into a video.